Welcome in, everyone, to the Chain Clankers Disc Golf Podcast. The 2022 Disc Golf World Championships are in the book. We've got our winners. This was one of the most exciting World Championships there was. It was absolute domination on the FPO side, and it was a thrilling back and forth battle on the MPO side. Our winners, Kristin Tattar and Paul McVeigh. We're here to break it down in today's episode. Let's jump right into it. Trenton, how are we doing today, man?
What's happening? I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Disc golf was on yesterday. The World Championships just ended. Like you said, it was amazing to watch, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, so getting into it, I was able to go there live with our old friend Horatio. We went to it, and let me tell you what, folks, this literally was an atmosphere unlike any other sporting event that I've ever gone to. There was easily 3,000 people there, and you could hear the roar of the crowd from all the way across the course. It was absolutely incredible. But let's break down exactly who won, some interesting finishers. So if you're new to the sport, welcome in. We know we have a lot of new listeners. This is arguably the most important tournament on the Pro Tour schedule. So yes, there are people who play disc golf professionally, and this is the World Championship Tournament. It was very interesting because on the FPO side, you saw a lot of Europeans playing very well. On the MPO side, not so much. But this tournament has a fantastic payout. It's the most prestigious, most honorable. Paul McVeigh won his 6th. Kristin Tattar won her 1st. So let's explain how they did it. Paul McVeigh won this tournament in a thrilling fashion. He had to go to one playoff hole to win it. Some other notable finishes. Aaron Gossage played absolutely fantastic, tying Paul McVeigh at negative 46. He really showed out the entire weekend. He didn't shoot above 60 one time. I think he was the only player to have done that. Tristan Tanner came close, but he shot a 60 in round 4. So he played really well, but just came up short. We'll talk about that in a second. Tristan Tanner coming from the B pool to finish in a tie for 3rd with Chris Clemens and Matthew Oram. Calvin Heimberg 6, Joel Freeman, Anthony Barella tying at 7, Benjamin Callaway, Nathan Sexty at 9, Richard Wysocki at 10, Chris Dickerson at 12. Some other notable names, Gannon Burr at 14, Greg Barsby at 22, Kyle Klein and Gary Gerthy at 23, Simon at 25, Jeremy Colling at 30, Drew Gibson at 30 as well. So Eagle also down here with James Conrad at 38. We did not see a back-to-back. Adam Hammis at 41 along with Brody Smith. Ezra and Emerson at 46. Logan Harpool coming in at 46 as well. Luke Humphreys at 51. Randon Latta, our last guest, coming in at 51 as well as I want to give a shout out to Nolan Ramser coming in at 64th. Very impressive tournament by all of those people. And then when we look at the FPO side here, Kristin Tattar, like I said, she won domination, absolute domination, minus 38 on the tournament. Hannah Belmarus came in at minus 30, coming in at 2nd place. Holland Hanley coming in at 3rd, 1 stroke ahead of Missy Gannon at negative 25. So from 1st to 3rd, there was a 13-stroke difference. That's literally an entire round difference from 1st to 3rd. This was the highest rated winner of all time for the FPO based off a round. Absolutely insane. Missy in 4th, Paige Pierce in 5th, tied with Evelina. We've got Kat Merge coming in at 8th. We've got Valerie Monahondo and Haley King at 9th, Katrina Allen at 11th, Ella Hansen, who was she was leading at one point during this tournament, finishing in 12th, and then some other notable names here. We've got Juliana Korver coming in at 27th, Stacy Haas, who's next week's guest, at 32nd, just barely missing the cut. She played really, really well. Maria Oliva, yes, she did. Maria Oliva coming in at 34th, and then Konastar Panis coming in at 39th. I've got some thoughts about that, but that's the quick hitters. That's how they finish. Trenton, what are your initial thoughts? You know, Paul McVeigh taking home $20K. That's right, folks, $20K for this victory. Kristen Tatar coming in and taking $11K. What are your initial thoughts on the World Championship? Hit me with it. I'm ready.
I thought it was awesome. Aaron Gossage, I was pulling for him. I'm not going to lie. I wanted Paul to win as well, but Gossage just played incredible the whole tournament. MPO side, Tristan Tanner was killing, like you were saying as well. And then I wanted Matty O to get a solo third. I was pretty bummed when he didn't hit. I think he had 2 opportunities. Obviously tough putts. 2 opportunities to hit a birdie to take solo third. Tied for third's fine. But, you know, everyone wants to be, you know, alone on the podium. But yeah, Aaron Gossage, I think, was a big story. Obviously, Paul McVeigh, the 6th time, the man, the myth, the legend himself. 11 years in a row now, first or second at Worlds tournaments. Absolutely incredible. The way he came back and won, too, I mean, geez. I wish I could have been there. I'm jealous of you.
You want me to set the stage for that?
In a second. But, yeah, I mean, Aaron Gossage, just got to give one of these to him because he came out of, I would say, out of right field a little bit for a lot of people and just absolutely crushed. I don't think he had a bogey. No, he had 2 bogeys, I think I remember, or I can look. But he had 2 bogeys in the entire tournament, and they were both on hole 1 at Supreme. And it was when he went for it, I believe. I could be wrong. But anyways, absolutely incredible performance by him. But when you get McBeast on the course, and it's World Championship Saturday this time, it's what you expect. On the FPO side, we can jump into the more MPO talk here in a minute. But the FPO side, I had picked Kristen Tatar to win it. Oh, I guess on the MPO side, I picked Simon Lizotte. He didn't play as well, but hey, can't win them all. Tatar, though, she's my girl. She's been crushing. There's her signed Grace right there from DDO. Absolute beast. Yeah, like you said, she played amazingly. I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, it was literal domination. It was the best performance in a World Championship I think we have ever seen. And it's one of those things where I said Paul was going to win, and because I took Paul, I took a dark horse for the FPO side. I took Valerie Mondahondo, which I thought was a pretty good chance. She's been playing really well this year. But, I mean, Kristen came out on another level. No one was even close to her. Her putting was fantastic. Her driving was fantastic. And I kind of want to talk about being there in person a little bit. If you look, I put it up on our story. If you look at the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Anthony Barella's drive on 1, you can see us at the end just absolutely vibing. But the thing about this event was, for the FPO, I loved watching the FPO more than the MPO because I could actually see something. I couldn't see anything for the MPO. There were so many people there that if you didn't have like a Home Depot bucket to stand on, or if you weren't against the ropes,
or
you
didn't
were
have
not
stilts.
going
Was
to
there
see.
stilts guys? Were there stilts guys there?
I only saw them for FPO. I didn't see them for the MPO. But the thing is that it was so difficult to see for the MPO. You had to choose. You're either watching the drive or you're watching the putt, and then you have to miss a hole, go to the next hole to see more action. Like on 18, I literally could not see anything. I couldn't see the drive. I couldn't see the putts. I could only go off what the roar of the crowd was saying. And then we hustled our butts to 16, and we actually sat behind the basket on 16 on the grass over there. And so we saw Aaron's disc come in, and it didn't look like it went in the water, which then when we saw the replay, it didn't go in the water, checked up, but was out of bounds, which I like that they did that. I like that the whole island isn't in bounds. I like that they put a circle around the island, so that way you have to make the island like solidly. And then seeing Paul almost ace it, like from our vantage point, it looked like it was about to go in, and that would have been the most insane thing ever if he would have walked it off with an ace. And then we had literally the perfect line of sight. I think we were staring into Aaron Gossage's eyes when he had the throw from the drop zone, and it looked so good. I mean, it was just in. It looks so good. If he would have hit that, that would have been insane. If I'm Paul, do you make that putt or do you lay it up and go to the next hole? I don't know. Because if you miss and you go in the water, it's over, and it's a literal repeat of last year. But back to my main point here is that the FPO, you could watch the drive and you could watch the putts. So that was really, really fun, and it really does show that, like, these girls can absolutely crush. Like, Hannah and Evelina are monsters when it comes to throwing the disc. It's just you can tell the difference when it comes to putting the disc. That I don't think anybody is putting better than Kristen Tatar right now. She is absolutely insane. Right now, I think that if there's someone who's going to go on a domination tour, I think it is going to be Kristen Tatar. I think there's an advantage right now in the FPO field that she can do that. I think she can rattle off 2 more in a row before we get somebody new. Paige might have something to say about that, but right now, Kristen is just playing at a different level. She has not finished in worse than 3rd position in over a year and a half, 2 years, something insane like that. Like, she is the by and far best female disc golfer right now out there. And so then we transition a little bit to MPO. Like I was saying, you literally could not see anything. Mostly, it was so hard. There was one point that Hannah McVeigh was literally right in front of us. She told Horatio to excuse her and got right in front of him. So that was kind of cool. But looking back at it, it was really fun. And the most fun was 15 through 18. Because 15, Paul goes out of bounds on literally the easiest hole on the course. He has a 1-stroke lead, gets a bogey, Aaron gets a birdie. So now Aaron's in the lead, and you're like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening again. He had played so well, and then they go to 16, and Aaron misses the putt. He went for it, missed the putt. Paul makes the putt with absolute death behind him, because 16, if you're unaware, is just an island hole. It's water and then an island that's maybe 40 feet around. I don't know. What's the proper math in diameter? Something like that.
Yeah.
But
circumference.
Some math guys. You know what I'm talking about. And he makes the birdie putt. So now they're tied going into 17. And then Paul makes an unreal 82-footer on 17.
Hey, timeout. We got to talk about his shank of a drive, and Gossage absolutely burns one down the fairway.
That's true.
But then, but the shot after the drive was great too.
Yes, Paul had a horrible drive. You're like, the momentum's his way, has a horrible drive, and you're like, of course this happens. Has a fantastic second shot to at least give him a chance, and that chance he was able to convert, getting the birdie. Aaron did not. He got a par, so they go into 18. And let me tell you what, guys, the crowd I was standing with, I literally said, I hope it's not like last year. Because this is exactly what happened last year. Paul McVeigh was up 1 going into 18, and we know James Conrad birdied, and Paul parred, and Paul ended up losing in a playoff going out of bounds off of the drive. And with 16 looming as the playoff hole, it was like, oh my gosh, this could be happening again. And then you see the drives, you see Paul's upshot, and he's just he's too far back.
Well,
I mean,
don't forget about Aaron's. Go ahead, you're good.
Yeah. I'm not going to forget about Aaron. Yeah, that's the next step, right? Because Paul was in circle 2, and then Aaron throws an absolute missile and puts himself pretty much in tap-in range.
I just want to talk about Aaron's shot on that. He threw a forehand over OB, over the crowd, into a sloped green that's like this, and the disc came in and landed just parked. I mean, a step outside of bullseye, and that is just so risky for that type of shot. For him to get a birdie, that was just an incredible shot. He played freaking good.
I don't know how that disc did not skip OB into the water at the angle that it landed. It was crazy, but whatever. That's a little world championship love for you. He gets it. And Paul's putt was so close, and I was wondering if he was going to run that, because that would have been a crazy way to finish the tournament. So I was wondering if he was going to run that, and he did, and he came up just short. And the immediate fear is that, well, if he comes up short, he's going to roll OB. He didn't roll OB, stayed right there. Aaron makes his putt. They go to the playoff on 16, and again, it's like, you got to be kidding me. This is how Paul is going to lose it. In the end, Paul ends up winning it. It was crazy. It was electric. It was so much fun. And the reaction, the importance here is that Paul McVeigh gets his 6th time. which he should be at 7, let's be honest, but he gets his 6th time. I think that's huge for his career because it's only going to get harder and he's only getting older, so he had to win this. He had gone the same amount of length it took him to win his 1st to his 5th. The amount of days was the same amount that it was between his last and literal day that he won number 6. It doesn't get any crazier than that. That's insane.
The stars couldn't align better for that situation.
And he hadn't won a tournament in so long. He comes out, plays fantastic, gets it done. So the questions I ask you now, Trenton, because I think we know, we've talked about FPO. I think we know Kristen's dominating. She could go off to win 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 more in a row, right? But on the MPO side, does Paul get another? And does Aaron Gossage come close to sniffing another world championship?
I think... Okay, to answer the second question first, I think Aaron Gossage obviously can show that he can play with the big dogs. He is very consistent. His game plan was basically impeccable the whole tournament. He just missed a couple of putts that he wasn't missing the rest of the tournament, really, and maybe a couple shots. But other than like 6 shots on the last day, he had no bogeys, so a lot of people consider that a win. He just was going against McVeigh and... Well, you know how that ends on championship Saturday or Sunday, whatever the championship day is. But do I think he'll come close to sniffing another one? I think it's definitely possible. I mean, there's no way he wouldn't be able to. I do think if he continues to play well and I think he's like just graduated college or something not too long ago, and he's relatively new to the scene. Obviously an absolute beast, but I do think he'll continue. If he continues to play well and perform awesome at these tournaments, his stock is just going to continue to rise. And I definitely think there's another chance he could be in the running, if not lead a tournament and win a Worlds eventually. Definitely, but that answers that. So Paul, I don't know. You can never count him out. I think he's got 2 more in him at least. I bet he wins 2 more World Championships. I know the talent pool is insane and it's only going to get better, but he continues to get better too. I mean, he was struggling all weekend kind of with like aspects every round, and he powered through. Just the will to win, I think, is what's going to push him, and he's done it 6 times. The experience is huge. I think he's got at least 2 more in him, if not 3, 4. I mean, he might get 5 again. He might be 10 time. He might catch Climo. Who knows? I'm sure that's the goal.
I mean, that's obviously the goal, but with the talent pool, I don't think it happens. I really think he gets 1 more and he ends at 7. He is in his early 30s, I believe, and the talent pool is only getting harder. But it's one of those things where if he chills and works on himself all year, and the only things that he cares about are the majors, and that's when he balls out, then yeah, he can absolutely do it. Where some other guys, maybe like Calvin, for example, is burning fuel the entirety of the season, not coming in at 100%. But Paul, dealing with maybe a shoulder injury, I was hearing. He wasn't putting very well to his standards, still able to get it done. So I agree. I think he'll win 1 or 2 more. It kind of reminds me almost of like LeBron James vibes, where they had to win that championship in 2020 because I'm not sure if they're going to win another one. And they probably won't win another one. That's probably his last one. I'm not getting that vibe here. I think he can still get 1 more. But I think getting 6 is going to be harder than getting 7, 8, 9.
That's probably definitely true. But I think also to your point about him not being able to, or him not having to focus on, or him not having to play every single tournament every year, and him being able to focus on the majors because of his contract. We all know he's still got 7 years in his contract. He's not worried about the money. He can focus on what he wants to focus on. If he wants to just play the Elite Series or the majors only, there's no reason he couldn't. He's automatically in USDGC no matter, because he's won it. So
yeah.
Realistically, if he wanted to do what you said, he could do it.
It's one of those things where look at Eagle, right? He took all that time off, ended up winning the Euro. Like, imagine if Paul would have won that and he would have won this. Like, we'd be saying this is one of Paul's best seasons ever. But that didn't happen. So I do think he's going to continue to not play Silver Series. Maybe he takes a couple more Pro Tour events off in order to really be 100% going into these major championships. To answer the Gossage question real quick, I love his game. I love the way he throws the discs. I love the risks that he takes. But I'm not sure if he comes close to getting it done. Time will tell. He's a very good player, and I want him to get it done. So wishing him nothing but the best. Last topic. We're going to get out of here. This isn't going to be a super long podcast. But before we get to this last topic, I just want to let you guys know, if you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday, it's because I have other videos dropping for YouTube. And so if you're a YouTube listener, this could be coming out on Tuesday. I don't know yet. I got an Athena, so I'm going to crank out a video today on Sunday and try to get it out on Sunday. We also got the new Upper Park bag, so I'm going to try to crank that video out and maybe get that out on Monday. So maybe the podcast for YouTube folk will drop on Tuesday, but if you're listening on audio, it'll still be Monday, and it's not going to be a super long one. We want it to be bite-sized so you guys can take this information and roll with it. Last topic, Trent, before we get out of here. Was Emporia the right spot to have Worlds at? I hear a lot of people on the internet complaining that Emporia was too easy, it's in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, and it's a whack place to be.
Here's the thing. Being from Kansas, I'm a little biased. I'm glad I was here. It was nice to see. I can also see their side, though. We did have DDO here 3 months ago at the same courses. So, I mean, if there was some way to switch it up a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think it was fine. I mean, you can't please everybody. The players seemed to enjoy it. It was challenging. It had its moments where it was easy and had its moments where it was hard. I think the wind, which is obviously usually a thing here in Kansas, which really wasn't all weekend, is a big aspect in the challenge of the course. I mean, the courses are hard without the wind. I mean, in DDO, it was granted 40 mile an hour winds, but you were seeing like maybe a -2 round. And they were shooting 10, 12 down, which that's great. The course is plenty challenging. They do that at almost every course on tour. So the course was plenty hard. I think the biggest difference was, and they were probably expecting to have some wind for the World Championships, for that to be a little bit of a factor to kind of play into the scores and kind of maybe shuffle things up a little bit, just like it did at DDO. But overall, I think it was a fine place to have it. Can't please everybody. I'll admit it wasn't always the most exciting to watch on DGN, but the drama was there. The players were playing great. Aaron, Paul, everybody, Tatar, Blomrose, or, all of them were playing great. They made it fun to watch. And if you love disc golf, you enjoyed it either way. So I loved it. Could it have been a little bit more entertaining? Who knows? But I thought the players did a fantastic job of bringing that entertainment value to the tippity top.
Exactly, because the thing is that until day 5 through day 4, there were 10 to 20 people who could win it on either side, mainly the MPO side. There were a couple that could win it on the FPO side, but definitely for the first 3 rounds, there were like 10 people in FPO that could have won because they were playing well as also. So for me, it's one of those things where again, being from Kansas, being in Wichita, we are not a flyover state. We matter. Like Emporia is the disc golf capital of the world, right? The town
per
actually
capita
feels a hit when disc golf is in the town, where you could go to somewhere else, Vegas, nobody even batted an eye that they were there. That's just an example of these bigger towns that have these events. No one even cares that they're there, where every business is excited, everyone is pumped up, and the courses really are not that bad. If you're out there in person looking at those things, you're like, these are kind of difficult, actually. And the thing is, people who want to talk about Ledgestone or all these other big tournaments, they're shooting 10, 12 down there. Also, they were doing it in Emporia. What's the difference? There literally is no difference in scores between Emporia and the other places on tour that they go that people are claiming that they're better. I guarantee when we go to Maple Hill later, people are going to be shooting 10 to 12 down like it's nothing as well. There is no difference.
I agree, and I do want to say this. The hills at Emporia Country Club and Jones Supreme are a lot steeper and bigger than the cameras make it seem. Like Hill 1 is a lot more downhill, or Hole 1 on Supreme is a lot more downhill than you think. It's only a 290-foot island shot, but that is, there's a considerable drop. I bet it's, I don't know, I'm not going to estimate, but it's a lot steeper than you think. And then a lot of the hills at, even at Country Club, same thing. There's a lot more slope and elevation change. Granted, it's not great. We're still in Kansas, but it's a lot more than it looks on the camera. So it was fantastic. The players did a great job bringing the entertainment up, just like we knew they would, and I would agree with you. Courses were sweet, and they're going to do the same thing at Maple Hill.
Yeah,
Or any of
exactly.
them.
They're going to do the exact same scores literally everywhere on tour, but there's one place this year on tour that you saw almost everybody over par, and that was in Emporia back when they did DDO. This is the only course on tour where you actually have an opportunity of that happening, so therefore it is good. It's August, September. Of course the winds aren't going to be 30 miles an hour like it is in April and early spring, right? So like there's still some wind, but it definitely was uncharacteristically unwindy, not windy in Kansas. So like I was expecting maybe like 15 to 20, but it really was more like 5 to 10 the whole time. It was absolutely beautiful. So for me, I really don't think it's that bad. The complaint that we played there already, I think that goes away because this is the last year, I believe, that you can have an Elite Series stop and the World Championship at the same place. So the next time it comes to Emporia, there won't be a DDO. So that will offset going forward, but for me, I think it was a great venue. It was great disc golf. I think you were happy either way. So let's stop complaining and stop looking at things to complain, and instead let's look on the bright side that we had some fantastic disc golf to watch.
Yes.
I bet the cell signal was not that bad, where you go to some of these other courses and you can't even watch half the holes, i.e. Maple Hill and other courses out on tour that supposedly are better than Emporia. So those are our takes. That's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Join us over on YouTube, youtube.com/Chain Clankers. If you want to watch this Athena video dropping, we've got some other great videos dropping, so subscribe over there. We appreciate all your guys' support. Shout out to Paul, shout out to Kristen, shout out to everybody who came up and said hi to me during the World Championship. Love you guys, love your support, and we will see you guys next week with a fantastic interview with Stacy Haas. You're going to get better at Circle 2 putting, so make sure you hit that subscribe button today, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.